Most people think 1 month is enough to transform your life. Not quite. 1 month is how long it takes you to kickstart your growth journey when you stop waiting for everything to be perfect. And if nothing is moving, even though you keep trying, this is for you. We're taught that transformation takes years, that you need the right plan, the right timing, everything lined up. But that's not how growth actually works. Kickstarting your growth journey doesn't mean that you have to have everything figured out. It's about choosing 1 month to make concrete moves instead of waiting for clarity. In this video, I'll show you 9 specific things you can do, not the someday kind, but decisions that transform your life starting today. And once you see them, you'll stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building momentum in your growth journey, one move at a time. So think of this as a 1 month experiment, not a reset button. If I were updating how I live and grow, what would I focus on so things actually start moving again? These are the 9 things I do if I wanted momentum without burning myself out. 1. Stop deciding if things are easy or hard. One of the fastest ways I slow myself down is by labeling things easy or hard. Because the moment I decide something is hard, I prepare myself for it. I get tight and contracted and brace myself. I procrastinate and drain my energy before I even start. I learned this years ago whitewater kayaking. Did you know that fear and excitement feel almost the same way in your body? Same adrenaline, same intensity. The only difference is the story you tell yourself about it. When I stopped labeling my experience and my sensations as fear or wrong, and instead I asked myself, is this what I want to do? Things got simpler and faster. For this month, try dropping the label and just follow or notice, is this what I want to do? And see what happens. That alone will remove so much friction in how you move forward. 2, read a story, not a self-help book. At night, as most people, I would scroll even educational stuff and researching, or watch something on TV, half engage, or just to entertain myself. But my brain would never really shut down. It just stayed filled with the noise. So I changed one thing. I picked up a book, but not a self-help book, not something to tell me how to improve myself. A story that reminded me how to dream. Personal development isn't just discipline. It's also remembering what's possible. For me right now, it's been reading about Native American cultures, their relationship to land and meaning. A good story gives your nervous system something to rest inside. And when your imagination wakes up, growth speeds up without effort. Go ahead, pick up an autobiography of somebody that you admire. Find a book of, for example, there was a book about trees and how trees grow and people around the trees, that it was amazing. And it made my imagination also look at trees differently. So find something that helps you see the world in a new way and open your imagination. Point 3, question what you've inherited. At one point in my life, after a divorce, I took a look at my life and my apartment and realized I was still recreating my mother's systems. Same organizing logic, same rules in the cupboards, same this is how it's done, folding the linen closet or organizing my closet with the clothes in colors. And like this, we we have received so many instructions throughout our life. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was your parent, maybe it was a boss. The way you do something at work, how you organize a spreadsheet. It's just that we have these guidelines that we have received at some point, and unconsciously and automatically, we're in autopilot, just following them without reviewing them. So I did something strange. I took everything out of its place. Cups out of cupboards, my clothes out of the closet. Even in the living room, I moved the couch and I moved the dining table, everything out of its place, all of it. And I lived like that for a couple of weeks. not to be messy, but to find my own organizing principle. What stayed is what mattered and what was authentically mine. When I put everything back, actually wasn't that much different, but I knew I was following my own principle. Growth accelerates when you stop running rules that you didn't choose. For this month, notice what beliefs, habits, or standards did you inherit that no longer fit who you are now. 4. Test your assumptions. There is this one question that is super effective that I come back to constantly. What am I missing? This is such a simple question, but I use it with clients, with my husband, with my kids, with friends, and even silently with myself. Not because I'm unsure, because I avoid and don't spend the next week or the next hours trying to clarify a misunderstanding. Assumptions create unnecessary conflict, and conflict can so easily get in the way of your personal development, wasting precious time and effort in the wrong thing. Clarity creates flow. Try it out this month. Start with that question: what am I missing? You'll see how it saves you time. If this is landing, this channel isn't about fixing yourself or pushing harder. It's for people who are capable, thoughtful, and doing the work, but have reached a point where effort alone isn't producing clarity anymore. If this resonates, go ahead and like the video. It helps more people find this kind of conversation and lets me know what's landing. All right, let's keep going. 5. Move your body to think clearly. There are things that I'm never going to think my way through. I have to move, walk, stretch, breathe, get out of the chair. There are so many studies that say that decisions aren't only cognitive, they are embodied. When I'm moving, I don't just get better answers. I stop overthinking long enough for the right one to surface. If you're stuck in your head, don't try to think harder. Move your body. Momentum often comes from the neck down. Point 6, allow empty space. This one is uncomfortable. We've been trained to fill every moment in our lives with noise, with content, with productivity, with distractions. But growth doesn't happen on command. It happens when things settle. Think of a garden. You plant, you water, and then you leave it alone. If you keep digging up the seeds to see if they're growing, nothing will survive. For this month, experiment with leaving space empty. No phone, no improvement project. I have a special chair, and literally I sit down and I pet my cat and look out the window. What's a unique moment you can create for yourself where you just pause and do nothing? You'll be surprised how much clarity shows up on its own. Point 7, clear the mental fog. This isn't about quitting anything forever. It's noticing what makes you foggy. Alcohol, too much scrolling, too much caffeine, not enough sleep. For me, this became about paying attention, attunement, because I noticed some days a glass of wine was fine, but then some other day, depending on the context of my life, it actually stressed me out more or it made me dull. When my inputs, when the signals get muddy, my decisions get muddy as well. And it's hard to know if I'm on the right track, or it takes time to have to redo where I've been already. Clearing the fog speeds everything up because you begin trusting yourself again. For this month, just get curious. What clouds you? What clears you? And adjust accordingly. Point 8, treat your life as precious. There's a story I love. A girl envied her friend's beautiful bike. Shiny, well kept, perfect. When her friend moved away, she gifted her the bike. At first, the girl was so excited, but a few months later, the bike sat abandoned, scratched, neglected. What the girl missed was this: the bike wasn't special because it was better. It was special because her friend treated it as precious. And that's how it is with our lives. We don't have things. If you think about it, we get to care for them for just a little while. When I started treating my body, my life, my relationships as precious. I stopped wasting precious time negotiating with myself. Care creates momentum, which leads us to point 9. Do one thing differently. Stagnation doesn't come from laziness, it comes from sameness. When nothing changes, effort feels heavy. So don't try to overbuild your willpower and push your life into a certain position and energy and momentum. Just change one thing. Maybe it's the walking route or the way you go to work. Maybe you create a weekly date night with your partner and your special person, or even with yourself. You refresh your desk, or maybe it's a new way to start your morning. Small novelty keeps things moving. And when things are moving, growth doesn't stall. And if your growth journey is something that you'd rather do in company rather than by yourself, I offer private strategy calls. We look at where you are, what's challenging, what's shifting, and what the next few steps can actually look like. So we could kickstart this journey together. The link is below. But you don't need to fix your life in 1 month. But 1 month is enough to stop waiting, enough to build momentum, enough to remember that growth doesn't happen by pushing harder. It comes from removing what's in the way. Pick one or two of these, try them for the next few weeks, and notice what starts to shift. That's how transformation actually begins.